Have you ever stopped to think about whether everyone on your Zoom call is able to see and hear everything that's happening? Because if not, you're most likely missing Zoom's accessibility tools. There's a good chance that some of your participants are struggling and you may not even realize it. Hi there, I'm Betsy, and I've been on Zoom every day for years, so you don't have to figure out how to grow your business performance using Zoom all on your own. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need so your meetings are more inclusive. For example, how to make sure that meeting captions and transcript are available. Also, how to adjust settings for the sight impaired, as well as making sure transcript is available for the hearing impaired. And if you want to know a great hack for turning on these tools without clicking, stay to the end because I've got those here for you as well. Are you ready? Let's get started. An accessible meeting experience starts here inside the settings in your Zoom account, because as the host of the meeting, you need to make sure that you have proper features and tools enabled. If they are not enabled here, then your participants who need the accessibility tools won't even see them on their screen. And it starts here at zoom.com in the meeting settings. And you can see down the left-hand side that we are in the account settings as the admin. And on the right-hand side of the screen, we are in the in-meeting advanced. So we are actually scrolled all the way down. You may be very familiar with a lot of these from our previous trainings, but in this case, we are in the advanced section. And as you scroll down past some of these, you'll get to here, where it talks about manual captions. And you'll want to make sure that the features you want are turned on. So those switches on the right need to be lit up in blue. If they are grayed out, then they are not turned on. For example, there are manual captions. And what that allows you to do is to type closed captions or assign a participant who is in the meeting using a third-party service. So these would be manual. If you need that, you turn that on. And you can see underneath that allows the host to type or assign a participant. So if you turn this on, then you can pick someone who is in that meeting with you to be the person who is manually typing captions. The next option, though, is automated captions. And with these enabled, this will take the spoken word in the meeting and automatically give captions, closed captioning, that appears at the bottom of the person's screen. And they have the ability to turn that on to show them or hide them. But the feature here, the fact that you turn it on in your account, means that it is available. If it is off in your account, it won't even be a button on your participant screen. The next section on automated captions allows you to enable it in your account setting and then specify that you want the captions available to be translated. These are the closed captions that appear at the bottom of the person's screen, and they are able to show them or hide them. Now, keep in mind, there are some limitations to this feature, and you'll want to check Zoom's website for an article on how this varies globally. It could be different in your country. These are the captions that take the spoken word inside the Zoom meeting and automatically translate them to appear in the language specified at the bottom of the screen. A little further in the settings is the tool to turn on, which controls the transcript. Providing your participants with a proper transcript allows people who cannot hear the meeting to read what was said during the meeting, especially after the meeting has ended. And the settings right here indicate whether or not it's on, and then whether or not the transcript can be saved by your participants. Starting with full transcript, to make sure that's on, just make sure this switch is turned on, and that allows viewing of the full transcript in the meeting in a side panel. And if the button is not there for captions, if the button is not there, it will be shown under more for everybody. And when they go to more, that's where they see show captions. And so this will appear at the bottom of their screen. Stay with us. I'll show you how to change the location as well. If you want to hide captions, it's right there. You just turn them off. So they have that control that they can show or hide them. With a transcript, if you need to view it fully on the screen, you can click on more and then go up here in the first row, that middle option there says transcript, and then it shows the running transcript in the side. And this is great for people who are hearing impaired and need to follow the spoken word but written on the screen. And they also have the ability at the very bottom there, it says save transcript. The transcript is saved to the documents folder, and inside there is a Zoom folder, and you have a subfolder for every single meeting, and the transcript will be in that folder. And then finally, inside the account settings are tools that help you to use language interpreters, including sign language interpretation, where the person signing for the hearing impaired appears on the screen. They have to be present inside the meeting, and their view can be pinned to the screen. So no matter what, the person who is hearing impaired can see the sign language interpretation. So that was the area inside meeting settings. If you now go into the area that is AI Companion, you will see these settings down below. Starting with AI Companion on the web. This gives users a direct interaction through their browser with AI Companion on the web. If you scroll down though, some more settings will help you bring AI Companion into your meeting. Starting with this section, make sure where it says participants can request the host to start in-meeting AI Companion features. So in case you don't have them on and they need them for accessibility, they'll be able to request it from their end. The next setting you want to make sure you have on is where it says allow users to ask AI Companion questions during the meeting. So during a meeting, answers are based on speech-to-text data. So if a transcript is being created, participants with access to this feature, they're able to ask questions after the meeting based on the transcript. And this allows for better comprehension. And so if you want to give this accessibility tool, it is major. People can ask what the host or presenter meant by something they were talking about. And using AI Companion, it will explain it in a summarized fashion, including next steps. Now, you can indicate whether those questions asked about the meeting can be from all participants or just a select group. You can also indicate, as you scroll down in these settings, that you can indicate that a meeting summary should be generated. And that means that anyone who has difficulty paying attention to the audio or the spoken word, if they need help comprehending, like taking notes while they're listening to the lecture or the presentation, they can get these meeting summary notes. And you'll see that underneath, you can indicate who gets the summary. So if you're hearing this and you're like, well, I don't want everybody to get the summary, I just want those select people, then make sure where it says only meeting host. And when you get it, then you'll be able to create a document from those meeting notes and then share manually. Or if you want, you can have all meeting participants, those who are invited, those who showed up to the meeting, can also get the notes. And if you're wondering if you're going to remember to turn all these features on when the meeting starts, there are settings here that says auto start when the meeting starts, or you can use this setting which says remind me to turn on AI Companion when I'm hosting a meeting. And then you'll get a pop-up when the meeting starts as the host, and you can turn it on then. And if you want a checklist of these settings to make sure that you remember everything before the meeting starts and that you're set up for success, grab a free copy of my Zoom Mastery Checklist. The link for that is in the description. All right, let's start here inside a live Zoom meeting so I can show you exactly where these settings are turned on. Now, here is your Zoom toolbar. And if you look all the way over on the right, there is the More button with those 3 dots. You go ahead and click there. Inside the More menu is an option that says Settings. Go ahead and click there. And now what I'm doing here is not just for the host. It is for anyone in the meeting. The portion of this video where you saw what to do as the host, that's for the person hosting the meeting, so that when you get inside here, all of your participants will be able to see the features and be able to turn them on. In addition, anyone inside a Zoom meeting can adjust their settings, as you can see here. Now, at the top of the settings, you do see an area that says accessibility. If you click there, Zoom has taken a portion of the accessibility settings and brought them right in here inside the meeting. And what this does, it allows you to adjust settings for those closed captions. For instance, because we turned the settings on in our Zoom account, that means accessible to the person is going to be a button somewhere in their bar to turn on their captions. And I'm going to show you how these two work together. For instance, if you would go to the More menu again, and this time find the Show Captions button. Now your captions are on, and now I'm going to show you how they work together. So up here, you can go change and drag this slider, and as you do so, look what's happening to the size of the font inside the closed captions. So if someone really had to follow along, they could do so. Now, the bigger the font, the more area you might need. So the next setting that you'll see is not only the font type, because if it's a bigger font size, I would say something without a serif. That's what fonts are. They have those little like curly ends to letters. You want something like Arial or Arial Black that is really easy to read. So the person can adjust their font, as well as the next one down is the position. And that can go from this, which is the pop-out overlay, to the other one, which is pinned to the bottom. So they could easily watch the lecture, the presentation like this. And now they can easily view what is being said because their font size is so large. Of course, you can adjust the font size up there in the settings. And if you needed to, you could just follow along and see more of the text in one screen. Just under the font size is the caption color. And you can adjust the caption color depending on what is needed by the person who needs to read it. So the color, whether it's a light background with dark text or a dark background with light text, can really make a difference for the person who is needing this accessibility feature. And then at the very bottom, there is a setting that says always show captions in meetings and webinars. This automatically displays captions when available without needing to enable them each time. So that is your personal setting. If you want that on every time, you can just switch that on down there. The other part of the settings that you find inside your meeting is at the very bottom of that sidebar where it says Open All Settings. Go ahead and click there. This opens up the settings for your Zoom app, and down the left-hand side, click where it says Accessibility. Now you're going to see some of the same settings we just saw for closed captioning, but at the very top, you see some added settings for the chat. In this case, when the chat is on, some people might need a larger chat size because sometimes the chat looks like this and other times it can look like this. And depending on whether you are sight impaired or you have a medical condition that limits your ability to see smaller text, you can use this setting at the top where it says chat display size. And you have choices from 80% to 200%, which actually is just a way to increase the size of the font. It does not increase for anybody else in the meeting. And the next two settings are for people with photosensitivity issues that will automatically dim video when flashing visual patterns are detected, like if a video is being shared during the presentation. And the other setting is to disable GIF animations. And that's when GIFs are placed inside the chat. Sometimes the movement can cause sensitivity issues. And these are all of your personal settings. So you're not doing this as a host for them. They are able to change these settings on their own. So definitely, if you're watching this video, these settings are for you to tweak, and then it will be set this way each time you open your Zoom app. The next section in your settings are those closed captioning settings. Those are the same as what were discussed before. They're just here inside with everything else. And then if you go a little further down, there are settings for people who use screen readers. A screen reader is for someone who is sight impaired. The blind, for instance, use screen readers because they can't see the screen. There is a separate program that is installed that works with their computer, not just with Zoom. It's working with their computer, and it's giving them audio alerts and notifications to what's happening. And so these are settings for in meetings. So anything that's turned on is going to have a sound. For instance, when a participant has joined or left, when a participant has joined or left the waiting room, when a participant has raised or lowered their hand. And the screen reader alert will have an integration with these features because they're on. On the left-hand side, below accessibility, are keyboard shortcuts. If someone needs an accessibility solution because they cannot use or click a mouse, they can create keyboard shortcuts to manage commands inside their Zoom app. For instance, if you wanted to mute or unmute your audio, you could use this shortcut, which is a key combination of using the Shift key, the Command key, and the A key on their keyboard. And so when you do that, it will mute your audio or unmute your audio, and you're not needed to pick up your mouse and click. Another one that is very popular is to press and hold the space key to temporarily unmute. As you can see, well, you can't see my finger right now, but I am holding down the spacebar key on my keyboard. You can see right there on the screen is a visual that shows that I'm talking. It shows for me. You're seeing it right now because we're sharing this into the recording, but I'm able to keep my finger held down on the keyboard while I'm talking. And the moment I lift it up, I was muted. As you scroll down the screen, you will see other keyboard shortcuts like for raising and lowering your hand, or entering or exiting in full screen mode, reading the active speaker name. And notice all of the keyboard shortcuts in this recording use a button which is the Command key. Like for instance, for entering and exiting full screen mode, that would be Shift Command F. That's because right now I'm on a Mac computer. If you're on a Windows computer, you would be doing this right now, and you'll see that your screen says the keyboard shortcut is Alt F, as in full. So leave me a comment below as to whether you're using Windows or Mac. I would like you to go in here and tell me, what is your keyboard shortcut for starting or stopping your cloud recording? Leave me a comment and let me know. If you want to be able to use some of these tools and not click a button, you can use hand gestures for reacting. For instance, if you wanted to react with love, you could make the shape of a heart and hold it there, and Zoom will react for you. If you wanted to give someone a double thumbs up, like in a sense saying, "Great job," then you'll see fireworks will start to shoot off from your thumbs. And if you want to ask a question using your physical hand, wait about 5 seconds and Zoom will raise the digital hand for you, alerting your host that you have a question. Small changes like this don't just make your meetings more accessible, they make them better for everyone. And that's really the goal. I hope you learned something from this video. And if you did, give it a thumbs up and let us know any questions you have, because we love answering every comment. And if you need more training, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that when other videos are posted, you will be the first to know. See you in the next video.